All right, everyone, welcome back to the 2020 Samui Swine Classic, the 7th edition presented by Innova Champion Discs. This is round 3, front half coverage. I'm Nate Perkins, and I'm joined with 5-time world champion Paige Pierce.
I'm the disc golf guy, and this is my video blog. Joining me now is Nate Perkins, and Nate, hopefully you've been doing commentary for the last 2 rounds, and hopefully this round as well, so we'll see how awkward this is or isn't. But here you are, you're featured again on the lead card. This is your second time playing in Thailand, correct?
That's right.
What's kind of the vibe? How does it feel coming into day number 3, your second time around at this tournament?
It's pretty surreal that there's even disc golf here. I mean, we're on a small island in the Gulf of Thailand, and it really is a paradise. I mean, it's good eating. It's cheap. It's cheap to be here, and so it's just it's special to see so many people from so many different countries all unite for the purpose of enjoying disc golf together.
Thanks, man. You too.
As far as the tournament, it's interesting to kind of be in that almost vacation kind of happy-go-lucky mindset, and then to kind of go back into your job and take it as serious as it needs to be taken. But
yeah, there is a little bit of a light vibe
Yeah.
that rolls around here, which I can understand. That might be a conflict from time to time. It seems like everyone's enjoying themselves. There's entertainment galore.
Yes.
There's golf. There's extra activities going on. It's really a special place to be. How do we get more? How do we get more people to come over and participate?
yeah, I think that you coming here and filming it, and players like James Conrad. I mean, the U.S. champ is here, so it's snowballing. Each year it seems to be growing and growing, and I think that it's disc golf in Asia is on a pretty good path.
They are, and they're working on a Southeast Asia tour that may be anywhere from 6 to 8 events. They've already kind of got themselves organized, and I think we're going to see that organization pick up and take a little bit more structure in upcoming years. Well, we're going to wish you the best of luck during the round. We'll catch up with everyone at the end of the round. I want to thank you for all the work you've been doing, and everyone loves seeing the travel, so keep at it, buddy.
Cool, thanks, Terry.
All right, Nate Perkins, let's get to the action.
And we're getting right into it, Paige. Philo is going into this final round with a 5-stroke lead.
And that's crazy too, because we saw Weston come out with a 15 under, but we also saw a tight battle going into that back half of the second round. So we know if someone gets on a hot birdie streak, things could change still. Philo almost misses that window.
He just touched those flags right there, right next to that palm tree. Just scoots by.
And you can tell just how windy it is today on this final day. It's going to be an interesting element to add to this course, on these baskets, these homemade baskets. You got wind, you got nerves. It's going to be interesting to see. Weston with that sweet heart shot. Hits the hole. Awesome.
Great correction on round 2. You can see the disappointment there. That's just the tree that you really can't hit.
Yeah, and it kicked you backwards. You got about a 45-footer now. Ooh, little step putt. Almost sent it right into the chains.
Ooh. Tries to come back at him, but that was right on the pole.
Yeah, it was right on the pole and wanted to come back out the front. Philo's surprisingly got way up there for hitting that Mando. That could have been a 2-stroke swing right there if you missed that Mando.
Absolutely.
So fortunate break there for Philo. And Weston just picking up that easy drop in.
This is such a fun course to play, though, isn't it?
It is. It really is. And just like being amongst all these palm trees, sunny, perfect weather. We got hole 2 here, 279 feet, sponsored by UDG Ultimate Disc Golf. Thanks for the sponsorship here. This one has OB on the right, about 60 short of pin high. It starts and it goes all the way to the back of the pin, and then you got OB far left as well. Doesn't really come into play unless you kind of challenge that early Mando tree you see on the left.
And the mid-range plays pretty well here. Philo's throwing a DX rock. he's trying to start this thing out pretty flat and then have it drift from left to right about 200 feet up the fairway.
Decent release angle and width, but just a little bit low there. He doesn't get the glide over to the right that he was looking for.
And this is James with Old Greenie. He's going to start this thing out on a really steep hyzer and watch how quick it flips up.
Wow.
Okay.
It might be the flippiest disc on tour.
Yeah, and so for those of you that haven't seen James Conrad play 100 times, that is a JK AVR that is, what, 10 years old, maybe more?
It's got to be pushing 10 years old.
And we all call it Greenie. He throws that thing very often. Weston with the Spark Thumber. And you know, with the sidearm, you know, it's cool to see this hole be thrown 4 completely different ways.
And that forehand was a little early, a little too much hyzer, and that's what I'm left with right there. Pretty much just a pitch up. And this is what James is left with.
This is a very tricky putt. He's got that tree right in front of him that he had to kind of make it come out of his hand late. And he had that tree right behind him. He couldn't really follow through that well. Philo, again, we're starting off hot with these beautiful putts right in the center of the basket. He hasn't even put this one close on any of the 6 attempts at this hole. I feel like he's just banging 40-footers.
Yes, and so is Weston right there with a very clean circle's edge putt. But that putt from Philo was really a statement putt, you know, and if he's making those all day long, it's going to be next to impossible for these guys to chase him down.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And Weston, you know, doing what he can to stay close enough and not lose one, but like you said, if Philo's not missing those, I don't know how they're going to make it happen.
We're moving into hole 3, the island hole. It's only 197 feet. The drone is flying right over the OB line right there. The 2 trees are really the guardians of the island. The basket is only 10-15 feet away from the OB long. And you can see Philo is actually opting to go standstill right here to hit that center gap. Oh, that's a little too much hyzer.
This island is quite a bit. Yeah, I think he did stick it. I think this island is quite a bit bigger this year than it was last year. More forgiving on that front side. That backside still tight as ever, but
very tight. And if you do miss this island, you proceed to a drop zone, which is almost a guaranteed for.
Weston making easy work of that shot. James just a tiny bit too inside. He clips that last tree, and he's just barely in front of the drop zone, which is, you know, inside circle 2.
That was too much hyzer. Hits the ground on edge and rolls just out of bounds.
Actually looked like where it landed was safe, and then that little roll might have just barely went over.
Yep, it was only a few inches out of bounds.
And that is such a great bid from the drop zone. You know, that's such an easy one where if you run it, you can go double OB, and now you're looking at a 5. Oh, James with a nice floater. Good attempt.
And Philo, 3 for 3. It's a good way to start when you have the lead.
Yes, it is.
Good way to start.
No matter what position you're in.
Where you're at.
All right, Weston picks another one up as well. Moves up to 24 under.
Alright, we're moving into hole 4, 305 feet, but extremely technical. You've got an early gap off the tee, and then about 200 feet up the fairway you have to navigate these tiny gaps right here. There's one on the far right that's maybe 8 feet across, and one just next to it that's maybe 6 feet across. and they're tough to hit.
Yeah, they really are. And they're, like you said, they're so late into the flight, so that's the trickiest part about it, I think. Philo has the box, looking to set the stage, but just doesn't quite get it high enough, and it's going to be only about halfway to the basket. But he's in the center of the fairway.
He's in the center, but he's going to have to hit one of those gaps on his approach, and you never want to be throwing.
No, you really don't.
Yeah.
Especially when Weston, the guy who's chasing you down, just throws this thumber right through the gap and gets a beautiful skip towards the basket.
Yeah, it's such a sweet shot that Weston has in the bank. And that rock looked like it was on the money. Couldn't quite tell if it cleared that last gap.
I like the sidearm play on this one, just a tiny bit more width on that one, but that's definitely the shot shape for this hole. That's your FD3 there?
That's right, Color Glow FD3.
All right, Philo made that look pretty easy. I feel like that is still a very, oh my gosh, very tricky up shot, but not as tricky as yours. I mean, you did have a wide gap, but look at that banner you had to step out and throw around.
Don't think that this is very clean right here. I think that might have been makeable for James, but
it's one of those
almost a miracle.
1 in 50 attempts or something.
So this is Weston to card the only birdie and get a stroke on Philo.
Dang it.
Man, this is,
He committed.
yeah, he did.
He committed.
Yeah, he committed so much so that he left himself about a 25-foot look back at the basket and can't convert, so he's going to go from potentially picking one up to losing one. Just unfortunate, but, you know, you got to applaud his effort for running it.
Yeah, no question there. There's not many players that are looking back saying that they shouldn't have ran that first
and
one.
especially on a course like this where it's almost birdie or die.
Yeah. Especially when you're 5 back.
Right.
Moving into hole 5, the only par 4 on the property at 627 feet. You've got OB at the right of that tree line right there. And you've got OB on the left that shapes the fairway from left to right. Tons of gaps through the palm trees here. This is a really fun hole to throw. And Philo's been playing this wide hyzer, pretty conservative play.
He hasn't got it quite far enough left for what you can tell what he's wanting. This one he's looking for it to skip. He's calling for it. And I think he's going to be in a similar position where he's been the past couple times.
He's going to have that low gap on the
Yeah.
right.
James opting for the left side of the fairway on an anhyzer. Doesn't give it enough height. And, I mean, he's in a good spot horizontally on the fairway, but he's just quite a bit far back.
Yeah, pretty conservative play from James. He went mid-range on this hole every time.
I was wondering if this was quicker rock. It seems interesting, like an interesting play for him.
Yeah.
A player that could potentially get like a long eagle look.
Yeah, for sure. He could definitely get within 50 feet of this hole.
But it is windy. I was seeing the wind as he was running up, so.
And that's an Explorer from Weston on a beautiful line, just a little bit too low. But he's also still in a position where he could get up and down for a birdie. James has the rock in his hands again. And this would be a huge left to right shot.
Oh, it clips a late tree and kicks to the left. It's close to that OB line.
Yeah, it is. And Weston is in a pretty tricky spot, and he's actually opting to throw a thumber here.
Wow, It looked like it came out of his hand a little late. Like it got caught on his thumb or something. A great angle, Terry.
And there's that low gap we were talking about.
Oh, you hate to see that.
He cured the gap. He had the height. He had the angle.
It's a tiny bit too inside. Gonna be short. Oh. And these palm trees really aren't letting y'all get close to that basket.
You know when you throw your shot and it looks like it's already past the tree?
Yep.
That was one of those moments.
James now with a very smooth approach up there. It looked like he must have stayed safe. You're right up there inside the circle as well.
That's on line. Oh, that was on line. Weston.
That was outside circle too.
And that's just, I mean, that was a little baby jump too from that straddle. Such smooth spin that he has on that release. That pure just floated all the way there.
Philo can't quite get that one high enough, but he doesn't really need to. He's got a pretty sizable lead, I would say. No reason to go for those at this moment. Good putt there.
I'm pretty happy with that. It was a little bit of a tailwind and wasn't quite sure how much it was going to really drop it. And happy to hit that one on the pole. Moving into hole 6 at 436 feet. It's the longest par 3 on the course. You do have OB all along the left side of the hole and OB along the right as well. We've seen Philo take this up the middle route on an Anheuser with his Star Destroyer, and we've seen the rest of the group take this route on the right side, kind of flat to Heiser.
Yeah, Philo hasn't even got close to any out of bounds, but it's such a technical shot. Really speaks to his skill set. That he can consistently cure that Anheuser. That is amazing.
That's the best that it's been thrown, I think, all weekend right there. And he kind of even shocked himself right there. You see that?
Little swagger as he walks away. He's like, yeah, that was dope. Trying not to crack a smile. Philo, just smile. That was a good one, man. Come on.
Yeah, just smile, dude. And James with the Wraith started Heisering just a little bit earlier than he wanted to, but he's going to have his Circle 2 look.
That thing had so much speed when it hit the ground still. Oh, I see you going for Philo's line.
Yeah, I tried to get up on Philo's level during this final round, and I had everything right with that shot except the height.
Yeah. I like your attempt. Weston going for the same gap as James. He gets his a little bit flatter. Let's see if it'll sit. Actually, very similar shot to James. He's going to be right on top of him. About 60 feet short left. It's a good little elevator putt.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. They are much closer than I thought.
This looks like Circle's edge.
Yeah, it does.
It's a big putt. Oh,
wow.
That was beautiful.
Huge putt.
Okay, so that was outside the circle for sure, and that was all just straddle spin from Weston Isaacs. That was beautiful. So James looks like he is also just on Circle's edge, maybe just out of it.
That classic fanning of the putter. Love that you can see the shadows of these palm trees.
Yep.
Oh, yes.
Barely stuck that one.
Yeah, a little high.
High left. Good catch from that basket. Philo with just the park job.
Little sigh of relief to see that one go in there.
He's got the matching shirt with the caddy. Those are such sweet shirts, and you know, just great memories that we can all get those in the players pack, customized.
And Philo is probably the best model for those shirts. Let's be honest. Hole 7, Paige, what do we have here?
This one's 344 feet, probably about 120 feet off the tee. You got a Mando on the left side that you do not want to miss. You kind of want to flex something overstable right at that tree and let it kind of work that S flight. But we have seen Philo go with a more straight approach. Not today, though. Looks like he is going for that S flight that we're talking about.
And that's that low rock 3 that he's been throwing all over the place this year. And another pure shot from Philo. His misses are just so tiny off the tee. He hardly ever misses.
Not enough to not give him a putt, you know? It's
It
just like
seems
maybe
he's
he'll
putting-
have a little bit longer of a putt.
Yeah. And James with a nice line with that Firebird just flexed out a little too early.
Oh no.
Oh, Weston.
And that's really the miss you can't make right there.
Yeah.
He missed the Mando tree just on the left side.
It's actually kind of easy to do that because you're
Yeah.
trying to throw an overstable disc on a severe ante, and if you just don't get it enough ante, you are going to miss that Mando. It's a well-placed Mando, I think. And that was, I liked your angle. That was
Yeah.
a really good shot.
Yeah, that angle I'm not too comfortable with, so to repeat that shot felt great.
So Weston will have to go to this drop zone, which sits about 120 feet short of the basket. He makes easy work of that, and he's right under it for his bogey 4. James now has the whole gallery over here on looking.
Oh my goodness, that was such a beautiful putt. There was a lot of wind going on that putt, if I remember right, and James just gets it to float all the way in there.
Philo from a similar distance, but different wind.
Oh my goodness.
These boys are putting on a show today.
That is such a clean putt right there.
Wow.
Philo's putter is not moving up and down much at all.
No.
Once he sends it on that line, it's just staying right there.
Is that where your driver ended? Wow. Ended it in a good spot. I thought it was a little bit left, and you were closest. It's a great birdie pickup there. And now we're heading into what you call Birdie Alley, right?
Well, we're almost to Birdie Alley.
Oh, you
Paige.
don't consider hole 8 Birdie Alley.
I don't. Do you?
I mean,
Do you think this is Birdie Alley? This is a good birdie.
these players could get it, but
Yeah.
you're right. You're right.
You
This one's-
got it.
This one's not that easy. This
No,
one's
it's not.
312. You got OB deep, you got OB left, and you got a Mando on short right. And where the basket is like on sand, and it drops down behind it. So if you throw it too far, you are going to find OB pretty quick.
It's a nice little beach next to this little creek. It's quite a nice green. That is thrown to perfection with that rock.
Wow.
And we've said it before, but you can tell a good shot on this hole because it kind of kicks up some of that sand near the bucket. And Paige, we haven't really talked about the tee pads at all, but the tee pads here this year were incredible.
Yeah.
They're steel frame turf tee pads.
Nigel really, and the whole team really stepped it up with these tee pads. I mean, just such a good addition to this course, and I don't know if I want to do a super spoiler, but the course is going to be even better next year. Nigel just got enough land for 4 more holes. Actually, past this basket, you see that woods line.
No way.
Yeah, and actually the day after the tournament, he was already working on the holes, getting it ready. That was a great driver through, just a little
Yeah,
S
that
flight right down there.
MD3 just kind of stabled out there at the end, but it was in bounds. Stoked to convert on that putt for another birdie.
Yeah, those new 4 holes are going to be right back there in past those woods that you see on the other side of that creek. I can't wait to see what they look like. Jeez, and Philo is just playing. He came out here to play today, and he is ready to try to claim another title out
What's
here.
he at now? He's got 6.
32 under.
6 over James. He's playing some solid golf.
He really is.
Now we're in birdie alley.
Okay, this is where it starts.
Dead straight, 213 feet. There is OB on the left and there is OB long. There's one tree like right outside the circle that kind of makes it a low ceiling shot.
Yeah, any higher than Philo just threw it, and you're looking at a 50-foot putt. But that was perfect height. He is going to be right at pin high. James now busting out old greenie again.
And James is definitely getting that. He was calling it.
Yeah, you saw that little late flip. So beautiful, right towards the basket.
And this is kind of new territory for me, throwing a putter off the tee.
Yeah.
And I'm really loving the wink.
Yeah, it looks good right out of the hand. It's got a good, like, versatile flight. Not too stable, not too understable. Weston doesn't get that one released where he wants it. He kind of comes out a little early, and he is making the Mando, but look at what he's left with here. This is...
Termite mound 50-footer.
Oh my gosh.
And that looks so good. A full flight on the putt right there.
That was such a weird stance, and to get that full power and commitment.
That little last motion that Philo's got, he committed and kind of followed through with his hand like that.
Oh.
Philo's going to fix the chain for us.
Oh, is that when you hit it? Oh, it's got a little zip tie.
Someone needs to tell that dude to cut his hair.
You? I was just thinking how long your hair was right there. That's funny. All right, James.
Solid comeback putt for birdie from James.
All right. And some great putts from you guys. And, you know, they weren't super long, but they're testers. And when you just saw a chain a little loose, you get in your head.
These homemade baskets catch pretty well, though, I gotta say.
They really
I
do.
didn't see any funny business all weekend, really. You gotta love Weston's putting stroke, though. Very simple, very repeatable. For the second hole of Birdie Alley, hole 10, 197 feet. Probably the trickiest of the three. There's a late gap that you can throw kind of like a stall hyzer shot. There's also kind of a straight shot that is a little tricky with an early gap off the tee. Philo's been throwing this wide one on medium height.
Looks like he had a nice little speed control on that one. He doesn't get enough hyzer on it to get into that last set of trees, but he's still about just outside the circle on the right.
And this is James with a Firebird skip shot. And I feel like he's just messing around with us now. There's a few back of Philo and
trying to ace that one. That was definitely the ace line. A little skip in there.
Oh, and that was a great angle of that little forehand shot right there.
That was beautiful. That is such a hard gap to hit.
And Weston peers the same gap with that straight keystone putter.
Oh! Come on,
And
that
was
that one.
That was as good of a putt that he's hit the whole round, and that one just didn't quite stick.
A little high, if anything, there. Just starting to hyzer. He's looking
inspecting.
You know, another cool thing about this course, you see the chickens in the background. It just reminded me of all the wildlife you get to see out there. There's water buffalo, there's monkeys, there's cats and dogs and chickens. It's really cool to be out here on an island in Thailand playing with all this, you know, wildlife around you. It's really cool.
Last hole of the first half. Hole 11, 197 feet, heading back toward the clubhouse. There's a big gap on the left, and then there's 4 small gaps right here that players tend to filter through. They drop shots to about 50 feet if you hit those trees on the right. And as we saw in round 2, James hit those trees both times and converted on both putts.
Yeah, we'll see if he can go 3 for 3 on these long ones.
Hitting the smallest one is always the most frustrating.
I mean, look how small that tree
It's
is.
so tiny.
Weston going with the harp here. Ooh, I like that line, actually.
Oh, and it scoots right past that small one that I squared.
Now we got Philo.
Stand still with the flippy AVR. Oh, and he just kisses off that tiny one. Keeps moving forward.
Half inch more left and he would have squared it.
And this is such an identical look to the one from round 2. I mean, he's probably within a few feet. Oh, I loved that putt, Paige. Just kept lifting.
Yeah. Right, Philo closes this front lap out with another birdie, moving up to 34 under par. His next closest competitor is James at 7 under. It's going to take something remarkable on this final loop around this course.
Yeah, we do have a pretty good battle going on
For second
place, though.
Absolutely. And this tournament has a podium, which is really cool. You know, you get medals, you get a belt, you get to stand on the podium, and this is definitely still something really awesome to fight for.
For sure. It's in the back of all of our minds. Getting to stand up on that podium, make a speech. And shout out to Terry Miller for making it out here all the way across the globe, bringing you guys this footage.
Tune in for the back 9.